Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 1, Under Locks and Keys. Coming up on the interlude between chapter 6 and 7, we'll dive right back in to Under Locks and Keys. When we last left off, the party, after some divide between their archaeological assistant and themselves, eventually established a connection with a mafia don operating out of Tortage, which you have been using as a more or less headquarters. Meeting with the Don, they explained that they would actually be more than willing to simply give you the key if only they had it. However, due to a misunderstanding between himself, a friend of his, and the gods involved, he received the version that was meant for his friend, a museum curator in Yav, who intended to build up their supply of magical artifacts with a duplicate of this one that only the gods can bestow. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, after all. The Don promised that in exchange for your protection, he would ensure that your trip there was in luxury. And sure enough, he secured you tickets on the Tieshan Express, a luxury train that travels the Tieshan Valley, which takes you right to where you need to be at the museum. However, the way there was waylaid with issues. A unexpected blizzard nearly stopped the party before you managed to power through it. The unexpected attack of a tar slime that had smuggled its way aboard during the first delay nearly slowed you again, and then that slime fusing with the ship's boiler for a final hurrah nearly stopped you again. But even when your train was literally reduced to less than half of its cars and the engine was completely totaled, you all managed to power through and get yourselves and all of the passengers to the destination safely. Welcomed as heroes in this autumn-fall village on the outskirts, you made your way to the museum, where a detective you had met on the train revealed that they had been the museum curator the entire time, and he and the Don were simply weighing whether the party was truly worthy of receiving this gift. Seeming to conclude that they were, the party underwent a dangerous ritual where the party were killed and resurrected, in some cases through necromancy, in some cases through dark science, managed to see their afterlives and make some relative peace with their various gods and what will be happening next. As Avaben, on the other hand, while the party went to grab the key, settled his personal affairs with his loved ones, who assured that no matter how much he wants, they will not simply be abandoning him to fight this battle alone. And from what you've all gathered, especially after your conversations with the gods and ghosts, the Boomergangers are not the sort of enemy you can simply retreat from or hide from. Whatever technology they have is clearly beyond even some degree of magic. And with that sobering thought in mind, you all awoke the next morning, and those of you who had participated in the ritual retrieved your key. The complete chronology of time. With the key in hand, as the rest of you settle, Avaben, we will be starting with you. Is there any business you wish to conduct coming off of the tail of where we left you? Or do you think you simply just returned, settled in for sleep, and will await the party the next morning?
I guess we'll just wait for the party. I
Okay.
can't really think of anything else if he already addressed issues with Aldi and you all.
And as you and Ollie finish your nighttime conversation, as your party makes their way to their respective means, you return to the damaged train, where you can see you all is sitting alone in what's left of the passenger car. However, as Ollie passes on to him the results of the conversation, he brightens up considerably. And while it is not verbalized directly, he does return to a more normal amount of physical contact. He's going to be observant, but you are forgiven for the time being.
I guess Raven will just say, maybe I I think I can agree that it's fine for you to be here. Maybe just stand a little further back next time.
He gives you a little bit of a smirk and a chuckle, but eventually nods. I will. Come the following morning, Alfred and Asari, is there any business you wish to conduct after the dawn passes on your key?
Does there need to be any research done, or are we pretty much done with that part?
You're not sure yet. Anna should be probably either at the train or at the inn, so you can ask her.
All right, I guess I will invite Alfred to come along if he wants.
All right. Al, how about you?
Sure.
All right. Avaben, you're not left waiting for too long. It's early in the morning whenever you hear a light set of footfalls outside of your carriage. And looking, you see Anna is glancing into the various rooms as she passes them before her eyes settle on you, and she gives a small nod. Hello. Just waiting to see if the others had gotten back yet. Alfred's brothers seem trustworthy enough, but, you know, making it this far, we didn't, I certainly didn't do that through not being careful. She kind of gives you a smirk. Not sure exactly what your plan was there.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. I wasn't really sure what the plan was, to be honest, but what matters is what we have it.
She kind of jolts a little bit as she hadn't heard you and Alfred enter, but sure enough, and Avaben, as you rise from your meditation, you see Asari and Alfred have arrived shortly behind her. She kind of places a hand to her chest in startlement. Gods, I warned you not to do that. Well, glad to see you all made it out in one piece. Is that it then? Her eyes dart down to the book in Greylog's arms.
Sorry, gives a nod, taking everything within me not to open it.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't think it's exactly your decision on that, if the stories I've heard are true. Also, Austin, you're
breathing into the mic.
No, actually, I was just gonna point out that I could see his tabs on the stream.
Oh.
Yeah. Look at that Zephyr's cheek, Anna.
Oh yeah, feel free to do that. Just make sure it's off camera. Anna sits down, leaning against the wall outside of Avaben's cabin. Ollie and you all kind of tilt their heads towards an interest, and you all can see the various other crew members are beginning to gather. Sans the Dawn, and you notice that the first mate, Sasha, is also nowhere to be found. But the rest of the crew begin to gather as hearing Anna's raised voice and seeing all of you gathered with key in hand seems to alert them to the same question. Which Anna kind of looks around and seeing as Asari and the others are looking to her for direction, she sighs and kind of hugs her knees to her chest as she looks around at all of you. So, I guess this is it then. She kind of swallows and looks around. All the keys are accounted for. We already know where the last ones are.
A problem, I think.
I know we've all had mixed feelings up till now, so I think after everything, it'd be best if all of us got a say in this. The keys are going to find each other one way or the other. It's just a matter of on whose turf we fight that fight. We're deciding where we're going to make our stand. Now, I'm all for the element of surprise. I hate to think what those guys are going to do to my home if they get to it. We don't know what they're capable of, who they really are, what they even really want. There's so much going in we don't know. We can't assume that they're going to abide by any code of honor, rules of engagement. They'd probably kill everyone in Tortage to get to us. Who knows what else? But I understand, and she nods to you in the cabin of Aben. I also understand that some of you might be hesitant to potentially bring the keys to the kingdom right to their door if a surprise attack fails. So, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but I think it's important that we decide now before we go home. After all, the Divine Doorway's not going to do us any good now. What do you all think?
Well, sorry. What did she say her preference was?
She herself admittedly has a preference for launching a surprise attack because, as she points out, given that you guys are so ignorant as to who the Boomergangers are, what their sort of MO is, and what they even want, you have no way of guaranteeing that they would follow the rules of warfare and not just kill everyone in Tortage trying to find you. Which, as much as Anna despises that God's Forsaken place, it's still home, and she doesn't want to see everyone just get slaughtered while you guys hide.
Yeah.
But she does concede your point that ambushing them could be taking the keys right to them, since, again, you have no real idea what you're up against. But at that point, you'd at least have the advantage of the element of surprise. But beyond that, she is currently leaving the manor in your hands. As mentioned, everyone on your crew, with the exception of course, the Don and his family, who are out enjoying themselves in the village, and Sasha, who is nowhere to be found. But everyone else is present and listening in on the conversation.
Yeah, I would say that there is one problem we have. How do we get to them?
Greylog gives you a nod. That's what I was gonna say. I don't mind taking the fight to them, but there's no way for us to get there. I think even Asari would have trouble teleporting us that far. Anna, at this, kind of gives a slow nod, but gives a small smile as well. Not entirely. Now, it's just a theory. I'd have to do some more research to confirm it, but I think I might be able to help us out here.
How do you mean?
Well, and she looks to Avaben again. Evade, do you know the story of how the Dark Elves came to be?
Let's see if I do.
Roll history.
Hold on, let me get a middle click to open a new tab, and then characters, and then view. Okay, history.
Yes.
I don't have any pluses to that, so. Nat 1.
That sucks.
You were a literal infant, basically. You have not the foggiest goddamn idea.
Look, I know I am a dark elf, but that don't mean I know everything about them. Especially all
Right,
things considered.
He said, that's racist.
right. I guess that was kind of an unfair question, sorry. Well, anyway, there's a story to it. At this, you can actually see Ollie kind of tilt her head with a smile. You don't think it's actually real, though, do you? All those stories? Stories
Wait.
is what's gotten us this far, Ollie.
If I was like, wait, you actually know the story?
She kind of looks to you, and her expression is somewhat hard to read. And she kind of looks to the side, and you all puts his hand on your shoulder and kind of quietly says, "Remember, even after you came along, our people are still enemies. And to know your enemy is to know yourself."
I didn't think you need to know that much about him.
I guess.
Pretty sure you just need to know the best ways to kill him.
Ollie kind of blows some of the hair out of her face as she looks to you with a still somewhat uncomfortable, but at least a little more calm expression, seeing as you're not mad at her for the implied killing of several of your people.
He don't. His considering them his people is rather hit and miss. To be
Well, bear in mind,
honest.
she's not familiar with that sensation, so she's kind of going off the assumption of what she's used to.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. People have been trying to figure out that sort of thing for years. If you can figure out where something comes from and destroy it, then no more enemies. Depending on what you're dealing with, it might even kill all of them if you destroy it. Although, we got unlucky there. Well, and she gives you a smile and brushes some of her hair aside. I guess I shouldn't say unlucky. All right, if we're chasing tall tales, what you got? Right, well, the Dark Elves are the way they are because they were cursed. I'm sure all the elves among us have heard stories from their elders about how the elves used to be a mighty empire back in the Second Age. You've all heard the stories, I imagine. Menodas HQ, the great capital of the Elvish Kingdom. If it's found again, the elves can reunite. No
Right.
more wood elves, no more light elves, no more dark elves, just elves again.
Mm-hmm. All right, where are you going with it?
Each of the elves were marked by disloyalty they showed to the Empire. For the wood elves, and she nods to Ollie and you all, because you fled into the forest rather than fight, you were cursed to never leave it. You could only take what the forest gave you, and never anything permanent. You all and Ollie kind of slowly nod. For the Dark Elves, it's because you left. Now, different translations give different versions of the story, but after seeing what the Boomergangers can do, I'm starting to lean towards one of the translations that's always been dismissed in archaeological schools up till now. They say that the Dark Elves we know today came from those who left the Empire on great ships heading into the stars. But some of them got cold feet, not wanting to be exiled from their home forever, so they came back. But by the time they returned, the Empire was already destroyed. I'm not sure if they got cursed as soon as they left or whenever they came back to a dead Empire, but the end result is clearly the same. Because you fled to the stars, you can never enjoy their light again. And she gestures to you, Avaven.
Raven's just like, it's amazing how apparently a people can be so advanced in capability, yet so backwards in actual behavior.
She, at this, kind of gives a little bit of a smirk, and if you can find a kingdom that's thinking doesn't go back in time, then I'll let you become king. But if that story is true, and if my translations are right, well, you see it, right? They left into the stars on a ship, but they had to come back at some point. Otherwise, and she gestures, Avaben wouldn't be here. That means that ship must still be here somewhere. If we can find a Dark Elf who knows about it, maybe we can get the information out of them. It would have to be someone high-ranking, obviously. Someone who has that kind of information to begin with. It'd be a lot of
Someone
searching.
who's very old.
Are you trying to suggest that we talk to an Inquisitor?
An Inquisitor would certainly be a good start. At the very least, it'll send us in the right direction.
I mean, are you insane?
Don't we have a
You know what
compass
they're
that'll
like.
literally bring us to something we want to find?
That is true. If we're not looking for the keys anymore, we don't need the compass for that. If you guys are on board with this plan, that's a great idea, Vaben. We can use the compass and find the ship, wherever it is.
And then you and Asari can make the finding of the age.
I mean, she grins to you, sorry. Insane or not, he's got a point. We're already going to be the archaeologists of the age, finding the divine doorway and maybe even seeing what's on the other side. If that doesn't go through, well, finding a working starship, that would be a whole other discovery entirely. We would go down in Elvish history. And Elvish history is great history to go down in, because
Yeah, I
it
know.
stays oral history for way longer.
Yeah, the only way you could lose Elvish history is if someone was crazy enough to somehow kill all of us. Which I don't think is gonna happen.
You don't know history very well then.
Anna kind of gives a nervous smile, but looks to all of you. But that's my idea.
Of course, that assumes anybody believes you and the ship doesn't get destroyed in the process, so you have no evidence.
Well, discovery for its own sake? And she kind of gives a shrug.
I mean, discovery for the sake of discovery, isn't that why we became archaeologists in the first place?
She kind of gives you a bit of a smirk, and certainly why I did.
It certainly would be funny to hear about the Dragonborn and plant person quacks raving about spaceships.
Who you calling a quack?
Well, if it looks like a Kamanegi and talks like a Kamanegi. So,
And don't some people believe that things like that came from lizards?
yeah, that's true. So, you're getting back to your roots, sorry?
Oh, joy.
So, you guys in? I know it's a long shot, and once we find it, we'll of course probably have to repair it and figure out how to fuel it and crew it and learn how it works. But
That is one thing. If nothing else, if we go to where this ship is, maybe we could force them to come to us there instead of here. Or well, you know what I mean. Since you're worried about them destroying everything around us, hopefully this ship is where nothing else is.
if we're lucky,
You would
But,
think if it was around stuff, people would have found it by now.
Yeah, but you wouldn't believe how stupid people can be.
not to mention people may not have even known what they were looking at. That
Mhm.
technology has been lost for centuries. Probably longer, all things considered. It could have easily been millennia since that ship last did anything. People might just think it's a useless hunk of metal down there. So, probably a good call on your part using the compass. That way we at least know for sure when we found it. But it'd be a long shot for them to chase us all the way out there. Yeah, they need our keys, but I guess we just have to hope they were bluffing when they said they could open the door without them.
Worth a try.
Greylog kind of gives a shrug. If it works, I'm in. And finally, attention turns to you, Alfred. Well, what do you think? We go out, we find the ship, wherever it is, and we get it working again, and take the fight to the Boomagangers. And who knows? And she looks to you, Avaven, with a smile. You're using the tool of your ancestors' betrayal to protect your new family. I don't know if that'll help all Dark Elves, but she gives a smile. Maybe it'll leave some kind of mark on you.
From what I understand, they do seem to believe that, some people seem to believe that there's like some second age warlord in down there, his body. Is that the same one that I wonder if that was the same person who caused the whole, end of the elves?
I'd have to do some more research to confirm it, but I did do a little bit of reading after you first brought up the story you heard from the
What did
elder.
they call him?
Narushima, the King of Beasts. And that's a well-earned title if even half the stories I've read are true. Immortal, unkillable, charismatic, genius. He had pretty much everything. 20s across the board. And in the end, he only got stopped because 2 of his own sons found a weakness in his armor. But it killed everyone in the process of taking him down. The elves, I'd have to do some research on what exactly brought them down. But she gives a bit of a shrug. It's a lot of history there. Archaeologists have been debating about it for centuries. A lot don't even believe it exists. But
I believe into those lectures.
she gives a nod. I didn't come this far, me and Asari both, by not believing that even the most fantastical story has to have some grain of truth to it.
And even then, I always believe that there's some truth to some lies.
But one thing that most people can agree on is that whatever destroyed them, it came from inside. Some say it was a curse, some say it was just a coup, rebellion of some kind. I've even heard theories that just due to a technical mishap, they ended up accidentally destroying themselves. They had weapons back then that with a push of a button could level entire continents. I wouldn't be surprised, although I'll admit I'd be disappointed. She kind of gives a small smile. But, Al, are you in?
I don't see why not.
Alright. She looks to the captain and gives him a nod. I guess, tell everyone that we're gonna be leaving soon. Asari and I will chart a course. But at this, the captain gives a nod and kind of looks around, but his bushy brows kind of furrow a little bit. Where is that second mate?
Someone missing.
The crew starts to kind of look around, and as mentioned, you all see that the imposing acting captain of the Breaker is nowhere to be found.
What? Where are we again? Are we in like a city?
You're in a village in Autumnfall, specifically the village of Adine.
Is there a what do they call them? Pub here?
Mary, the swabby, gives a nod. Just about to suggest the same thing. Butterball probably drank himself into a stupor again. You know what they say about Yavik people?
What do they say about Jorvik people?
He kind of does like a mock stance, and does like a little small jig side to side, and... In Mother Yov, drink drinks you! And he does, again, a little jig.
Well, sounds like a very lovely people.
I'm sure they're great. Have Aben and the Swabby, from the sounds of it, heading to check the tavern. What are the rest of you doing?
You said we're in autumn fall, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna talk to Anna real quick, but
Okay.
it can come back to me.
Okay.
Just make sure everybody else gets what they want done.
Yeah. Alfred, how about you?
Okay.
You don't have to do anything. It's just like, you know, making sure everybody gets hit
Yeah.
at least.
I got that, yeah. All this power, look at all. Ow.
Take some water.
That's the problem. It went down the wrong pipe.
Oh no!
Like, the water was the problem.
Yeah, I'm literally drowning and just drink some water.
More
You're
liquid.
fine. You're fine. Shit.
I mean, I'm just gonna
It's like if
get the ship ready.
Get the ship there.
All right. Avaben. As
do
Alfred
we find anyone at the drinking establishment?
As Alfred is readying the crew to start journeying back to the ship, and Anna sits with Asari and the two engage in conversation, you and the Swabby head out towards the nearest bar. But that turns out to be unnecessary. About halfway there, with your ever-keen eyes, even burning in the sunlight,
They're just
actually
frying like fucking eggs.
you actually are able to see him. He's walking on a path heading north, a backpack slung over his shoulder, and walking off into the surrounding darkwood. You almost miss him as he starts vanishing into the tree line, but you manage to catch sight of his muscular form as he's making his way down the path. And
Is
out of
this
sight.
Swabby with me?
Yeah.
He'll just grab him and be like, well, looks like your second mate there decided to take a trip.
Now where the Hades is he going? Hey, big guy, wait up! Avaben, do you follow?
I guess I will now.
Avaben, following behind the mouthy Swabby, you see that Sasha has come to a stop. His tropical Gigi bird still perched on his shoulder as he holds out a small fingertip of pellets for it, and he turns as the two of you approach. He kind of looks nonplussed at the Swabby, but his expression softens as he turns to you, and you see him let out a deep breath through his nostrils. Was not intending to be found.
Yeah, well, that's pretty hard to do with me around.
You can keep payment and ship and crew. But Sasha must go home.
Decided the sea life wasn't for you anymore?
He lets out another deep breath, and Sasha has been watching. Sasha has been listening. Boomergangers are everywhere. When Sasha discovered this, Sasha told family to lock up house and only allow in those Sasha approves. He gives a small shrug. This works for a time. But then, thieves come. Not to steal, but to say, Boomerganger's hunting us. We need shelter. Sasha heaves out another sigh, and Sasha relents. Then come dark elves, men mostly, saying that they know those hiding from Boomergangers welcome male dark elves. Again, Sasha relents. Again, pirates and gladiators. Again, strangers tinted in green. Everywhere we go, Boomergangers destroy what we leave. Those who survive need protection. And now he looks firmly to you, Vaven. Sasha will not leave family to die alone. If you are fighting Boomergangers, or Boomergangers are taking fight to you, Sasha knows they will be coming for Sasha's family next. The people Sasha has sworn to protect. So Sasha must go home and wait.
If they're coming, isn't that all the more reason to destroy them now?
He just stares at you, and Tiny Dragon Girl is good at magic. But Tiny Dragon Girl cannot be in two places at once. Neither can you. Neither can Sasha. Sasha and the Vaben must choose place to stand.
Well, if it is what you feel you must do, if you think you stand a better chance against them by yourself.
He shakes his head. The Vine Five will emerge victorious, and Sasha will host fine banquet to celebrate. It is not that Sasha fears to lose. Nothing kills Sasha. Nothing kills the Vine Five. But little people, Boomergangers can kill little people. You protect your little people, and Sasha protects his.
You may be right. I've had something new to think about from this.
He gives you a nod, and hesitating for a moment, pulls out a small bit of parchment from his vest and steps towards you. The Swabby looks confused, like he never contemplated the idea that people might start leaving the group.
Do not begrudge him his decision.
I'm not. I'm just... Wow, you're serious about this, big guy. Very serious. Wow. Well, I guess you have fun. We're gonna go to space. He just kind of gives a small nod of the head. You're not sure if he just doesn't believe him, or if it's more just like, yeah, that seems like some bullshit you guys would do.
I'm telling you, the most chaos would be like a team up between the Divine Five and the Osley.
Christ.
I'm not sure how that would go.
It would be chaos.
I was gonna say, I know how it would go, and that's why I'm never gonna do it.
Yeah,
It'd be chaos.
I'm pretty sure Asari and Lucian would not get along.
Eventually, he hands you the small bit of parchment that he's made a small marking on. You can see it's a map that directs you from your current location, just kind of covering the general area of Yav, from your current location to a location to the far north, but in a freezing, far north part of it that, as far as the map indicates to you, nobody lives out there. Not even a village marked on the map. Sasha will be here.
Very well.
If the Vine 5 needs someone to protect little people, tell them to find, and Sasha will protect.
I don't know if you can protect an entire village.
He takes in a deep breath, and you kind of re-register the living wall this man is.
Oh, I'm sure you're very capable of protecting, but it is a lot of people.
Sasha is a lot of man.
Well, you certainly are.
Did Sasha say something funny?
Oh no. I do admire your confidence.
Yeah, man.
Tenacity.
You're the whole package.
Wow.
He kind of elbows you with a grin of Aben.
Well, I will pass the word on to the others.
Thank you, Aben. Give Sasha's regards to Captain Thawne. Good captain. Sasha is not needed on the breaker anymore. He runs once his bird has stopped eating the free finger down its back, and it kind of coos and trills into his meaty hand. Be safe, and may your little people prosper. And with that, Sasha shoulders his massive knock gun, holds the bird in one hand and pets it with the other, and humming a small Yavik dirge to himself, stomps his way down the path, heading for the freezing north wastes, the coldest place on the planet that isn't the Caps.
Because it technically is the Caps.
I mean, yeah, kinda. Mary watches them go with a, again, kind of confused expression, but eventually looks to you and, well, I guess we found him.
Yes, we should go back and let them know.
Sorry.
Yo.
You had words you'd like to exchange with the archaeologist?
I do. I guess sorry, we'll go over to her and sit down.
She gives you a smile as you sit down. Something on your mind, love?
I'm gonna take out the Autumnfall sword I have and show it to her.
Hello, where'd you find this?
You know, around.
She kind of quirks a brow at you, but eventually just kind of shakes her head with a grin. Well, it's right pretty.
Well, so I figured since we're in Autumnfall, do you think I maybe should give this to, you know, whoever's in charge? You know, a family member or something.
If you're looking for the queen, love, she's a long way from here. But if you think it's so special, why not just give it to the doctor running the museum? I'm sure he'll pass word up to her.
I don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
Yeah, it's probably might fair.
I mean, you can probably throw him pretty far.
Alright, I'll tell you what. And she looks to your face and winces. Yeah, I can tell this is real important for you. She gives a sigh and a smile. How about this? We're gonna need time to figure out where we're gonna be going from here anyway. But so, let's say while we let everyone else catch their breath, we'll head north together and pass it on to her.
She kind of gives a nod. I like that idea. I think.
She gives you a smile. Sounds like a plan then. Just need to wait for them to find that first mate, and we'll pass word to the crew.
Right.
And it's at this point that Avaben and the Swabby return. Alfred, as you're distributing orders, sort of acting as a temporary first mate for the captain, and the crew are gearing up, ready to potentially leave soon. As you all see Avaben return, with Sasha still nowhere in sight.
Were you unsuccessful?
Oh, we found him. He's decided. He's raised a good point, I feel like. He's decided to return home, fearing that the Boomergangers may be attacking the people he cares about.
Yeah, they did warn us about that.
And it has got me thinking. Anna, how long do you honestly think it would take this group to fix something like this starship?
It depends on how damaged it is. If we had Dark Elves helping us, that would make it easier, but as it stands, none of us know how this stuff works. We'd have to find an expert, or at least people who can brute force it enough for expertise to not matter. I can think of a few ideas, but it would depend on how lucky we get. But I feel
And
like
who knows? And while we're doing this, who knows what the Boomergangers could do to people we've met, known?
What about my mum? I mean, they pretty much threatened my mum.
Shit. I had no
So,
idea.
it got me thinking. If we spend months, or who knows how long it takes to fix this thing, who knows how many people that have come in our path could come into theirs? What could happen to our villages, our homes, the people we care about? And I'm thinking, maybe, we don't want to fight them here in Tornage, where people here will be caught in the crossfire. Maybe instead we either drown the ship or somewheres, and we somehow convince the Boomergangers that they need to come to us immediately.
You know what? That's probably not a bad idea. Maybe we can mark a surprise.
Maybe make them think that if we're near the ship, they'll realize what we intend to use it for, that we intend to go to them. But if we bring all the items with us, and make it known that we have all the items with us, maybe they'll send their people after us, rather than trying to go after the people we know.
Right. If they already have all the answers, there's no point interrogating anyone. That's really smart. All right. I'm okay with that plan. I'd rather it be people like us who do this, but... And she raises her voice, this time directing us to everyone present. That means anyone who comes along with us from here needs to be ready to fight. I've never known Sasha to worry about nothing and not be proven right. I trust him if he says that the Boomergangers are going after people, especially with Asari backing it up. She nods to you. any civilians on the battlefield are going to be treated as expendable by the Boomergangers, and we can't be everywhere at once. If you're going to be here, you need to be able to take care of yourself. And you need to accept that we might not all make it out of this. It's not just about treasure anymore. These people are dangerous, with or without what's behind the door. We need to stop them.
And they have already harmed a lot of people and made a lot of enemies. Maybe if we can gather some allies, perhaps, and lead the Boomergangers into a trap with us as the bait.
She's quiet for a moment before she gives a small, almost mischievous grin. You guys have made a lot of friends, and we're gonna have to visit a few places to pick up enough supplies for the trip. How about we take a little trip down memory lane? Hit up some of our old haunts and make sure the word spreads that we're going after the Boomergangers. That means anyone who knows us knows to get out of the way, and anyone who doesn't, well, they wouldn't have anything to offer the Boomergangers anyway. And at least they'll be warned of what's coming. It won't save everyone, but it'll be a good start. What do you guys think? I say I'm on board with Avaben's plan. And she puts her hand forward, seeming like she's trying to initiate one of those team hand things.
Yeah, like, I immediately saw that, yeah.
You're such a dork. And she'll put her hand on top of Anna's.
Well, I've never gotten to do this before!
Oh!
Why are you... He's just gonna look to... Sorry, why do you gotta be so mean to your friend?
Oh, she knows I do it out of love.
Ollie hops off of her perch and steps forward. I guess some things are universal. And she puts her hand.
Avaben's just gonna look to Ollie and you all and say... Part of my coming up with this plan was I thought about our village. What would happen if the Boomergangers went to our home, trying to draw us out?
They already tried to exterminate us once just for being in the way. If they thought that we knew something about you and weren't telling them, who knows what they'd do. He stands up and, after a moment of thought, puts his hand forward as well.
How about you, Alfred? I know a lot of the people you care about are in another dimension, but something tells me that wouldn't stop the Boomergangers.
Well, I'm assuming the light would take away their memories, but even then...
They may have other means. They had to have known one... They said they knew where they were.
And if you guys had a way to get in and out with a key, what's to stop them from getting in and out with weapons?
Oh, I mean, that wasn't really my concern, but like I said, village or not, I would make sure that people here are safe. May not be my world, but one I'm in right now.
Your brothers both kind of nod and join in the slowly growing hand pile.
Guess I will join too.
Captain Thaun wheels forward. Well, if any ninnies among the crew wish to take their leave, you may do so, although I cannot promise it will be with honors. He looks over all of you with a kind smile on his weathered face. You've all reminded me of the spirit of adventuring, what it's all about. I'd be damned if I didn't return that favor with some of my own. I may not be an engineer, but I know my way around a wrench. And he gives a little show-offy spin in his wheelchair. Perhaps I can help make this ship just as ship-shape as the Breaker, eh, what? and he places his hand forward. And while the crew do not do the same, they stand behind the captain, and San Sasha all confirm their willingness to follow. Vaben, you're the last one.
Well, obviously I'm going to agree with my own plan.
All right. You all place your hands in, and Anna, seeming to realize that she's gotten to the end of the process but doesn't really know what to do next, she breaks it somewhat awkwardly by throwing her hand up at the bottom of the pile and just kind of giving a slightly embarrassed, "Go team!"
I'll also say go team.
Right. Sorry, you and me will get to work on the compass. We have a small errand to run up north. We'll be running the calculations as we go while we're setting up camp. The rest of you, if you don't have any other plans, just stay here. Make yourselves comfortable, and it might be a good time to start here. Spread the word. Make sure everybody knows who we are and what we're here to do. From what I've heard, even the gods are starting to take notice of what we're doing, so word should spread pretty fast.
Trust me, they know.
So, Asara and I will be gone for a little bit, but we'll be back soon. And once we get back, we'll start hunting. We're gonna find that ship. We're gonna get it working, and whether they come to us or we go to them, we're ending this. Does anyone have any final business while all the NPCs are gathered?
The way you said that, no.
Alright. You all split off. Asari and Anna preparing for your trip north. The rest of you preparing for anything you wish to do during your downtime. As potentially the last bit of downtime for this campaign begins. With that said, we'll just kind of go through everyone, since you guys hadn't sent it to me preemptively. Alfred, what do you wish to do during your downtime?
My downtime. How long is said downtime?
This downtime will be a month, and Anna and Asari will be returning after 2 weeks.
I will. You know what? Let's just, why not? I'm good at it. I'll try to aim for a proficiency just by. I'm gonna try to be intimidating. Just start puffing up my chest and
He starts being able to like flex his pecs.
It's freaking like Terry Crews up in this shit.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Like in those Old Spice commercials. Dude, the Old Spice commercials are fucking trippy as shit.
I love them so much. Do not start. Oh no, I'm being targeted.
Alfred, to train yourself to be a bit more intimidating. You realize that you're going into battle, and that while you are still fighting to protect, you must at least get off the impression that you are willing to potentially hurt people. So, with that in mind, to train this, you will need, just a second here, I'm assuming you're just going to dedicate like the usual amount of time you would in a day to training?
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta make sure my other chores are done.
Okay. Okay. It will cost you 60 gold, but you're able to find someone in town who is willing to essentially show you the ropes of how to at least convince people you mean them harm, even if you don't.
Yeah, there's a problem there. I can't do that.
You want to borrow money from somebody?
I might have some money. I don't know. I have to look.
I'm broke.
Or Jeremy might.
Yeah, I was gonna say if need be, I can give you some money from Greylog.
Sure. What else? What would the money be needed anyways after this?
All right, 60 gold, and you gain proficiency in intimidation.
Noip.
Yeah.
Oh, also, since we are starting a new chapter, you all have inspiration, so...
Oh, yay!
You guys have made your decision. This downtime will be leading into Chapter 7, which will be the second to last chapter. Alright. Alfred, you find yourself a teacher in town. Most people of Autumnfall have various mutations from their magical sorceress blood. You find one who's particularly big and scary looking, and ask them to teach you how to make people feel as though you are big and scary as they are. They turn out to be a rather gentle soul and happily show you at least the basics. You manage to figure out the talent of resting bitch face, of like making the right little growls whenever people are trying to talk to you. They teach you how to be real intimidating. Avaven, what would you like to do during the downtime?
So is the downtime whenever we're going to be trying to, like, gather allies, or is that going to be the actual, like...
That will, the actual context of this chapter will be you enacting your plan. So, from what Anna has said, you'll travel to the different locations you've been throughout this journey, warn the allies you made there of what's coming, and of course, civilians. Civilians will know to get the hell out of the way. People who know you might actually join you to fight this battle, or at least offer any kind of support they can. And then, of course, your end goal is to find this ship, get it up and running, and once you're able to do that, if the Boomergangers haven't found you already, you can take the fight to them. So for now, it's just, you can just relax, or take a time to get a proficiency, whatever you want to do.
Well, since we're gonna be trying to actually, convince people of things...
Persuasion?
Yeah, so... I have an idea. Avaben is going... I believe, isn't his parents, like, political and all that?
Yeah, they're politicians.
Alright, Avaben's gonna ask you all to teach him how to be persuasive.
He gives you a bit of a smirk, and...
We might have to convince some people to help us here, so I figured, if nothing else, it will be important to know.
You make a fair point. Alright, first lesson. And he gives you a smile and puts his hand on his cheek playfully. Why should I do it for free?
Because you want me to be successful, because you care about me.
He literally said, because you love me.
Roll persuasion.
Oh shit. I actually have to convince... It's like, I actually am gonna have to convince you on this.
I didn't say I wouldn't do it. If we're keeping that door shut, we're not getting paid at the end of this.
I can't believe you would choose money over me.
I'm not choosing it over you, I'm choosing it alongside you. It's your first lesson.
12. Do I fail the first lesson?
D-. I'll teach you how to do that correctly for 60 gold.
Are you actually kidding me right now?
He sticks his tongue out at you and winks, and holds out his hand expectantly.
Didn't I already give you gold at one point?
Yeah, but that was just because you love me. This is because I'm such a good teacher.
Oh my god. Actually gaslighting you.
I'll give you 50.
55.
Fine.
First lesson? And he takes the money from you. Knock 55 gold off of your inventory. Don't try to haggle when you're already losing. Lesson 2? Because you love me never works. Lesson 3. And you begin your training.
Vapen's just like, I bet it'd work pretty well if I was willing to be a bit more mean about it.
Sorry. Firstly, which item specifically is it that you're referring to that you wish to return to Queen Autumnfall?
The sword that I have. It's in my inventory.
I don't see it.
I
see a dagger. I see a quarterstaff.
Oh, I had it. Hang on.
All that for nothing?
No. I know I have it. Give me 1 second.
Alright. In the meantime, Greylog has already informed me what he's going to be doing. So because some of this affects some of you guys, and just so it's stated on screen.
No, not you. It's stupid.
Greylog is actually going to approach you, Avaben, while you're in the midst of lessons with you all, and request to borrow the Forge Cast pistol, as he wishes to attempt to replicate the Atlantean crafting mechanism they used to create it, and create new weapons for this battle.
Come on, D&D Beyond.
He promises you that he will not use the pistol for any of it. He just wants it on hand as basically a reference for if he's doing it correctly.
Alright. I guess it's fine.
I already got an idea. I promise you're gonna like it.
Just try not to disintegrate yourself with it.
No promises, as he hops off of the damaged train car. And he's already made all of the required checks for this. So I will just kind of give the results as I go. He considers a few different designs that he wants to make. Initially hoping to make potentially enchanted medallions that would protect the party and your allies. But when he does a cost analysis and realizes that that is far outside of any of you guys' budget or time, he settles instead for creating weapons. Making a enchanted bow for himself and a rifle for Avaben. As he studies the Forge Cast pistol and the Atlantean crysteel they used to make it, while he does not have the tools that were used to create this, nor the knowledge of detailed enchantment, he at least is able to replicate the prayers to Vulcan and at least attempts to mix mana and steel, even if it is not in the proper construction that an Atlantean would have done it. While it is no Forge Cast pistol, he is able to create his desired weapons.
What the fuck?
For himself, he creates a bow of warning. And Avaben, you may add the Bad News rifle to your inventory, as well as 50 bullets for it.
Bad.
What is that?
Bad News is a sniper rifle.
Yeah. Now I'm curious.
It's actually a D&D item. Look it up.
That's all them.
Also, I don't know why it's not in my inventory, but I did have it.
Can you remind me where you got it from?
I got it when we were doing, God, what was it called? And we were doing the one quest, and I had to talk to the sword. I'm sorry, my brain is just not.
The wrong campaign.
Is it the wrong campaign?
Yes, I think you're in the wrong campaign.
I think we're Luna.
That's why I was confused for a moment, because I was like, I don't remember the Autumnfall sword being a plot point.
It's been a really, really, really long day for me. I am so sorry.
You're fine, you're fine.
Don't you say that like every day?
Never mind.
I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah, so Vaben.
Also, are we streaming this?
Yeah, why?
I never heard you talking to Austin about getting it set.
Well, we did that before you got here.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, Vaben, as the month is about to draw to a close, Greylog hands you a bag of 50 shots and a kind of picture it as like a Civil War era sharpshooter's rifle to fire them from. Here.
Is this an actual item in the game?
Yes, it's called Bad News and 50 Exandria bullets.
Unofficial though.
Oh, it's unofficial, but it's on D&D Beyond.
So. I know.
I see Bad News bullets.
Well, it's called Bad News. In parentheses Exandria.
Oh, Bad News Exandria.
Yeah, so yeah, Greylog crafts that item for you and 50 shots to fire from it. It is a sniper rifle. For himself, he makes a bow of warning. As mentioned, the specific...
You have to use the Bad News bullets?
Yeah, that'll do as well. Just, 50 of the bullets you fire from. As long as you can keep track of it, that's all that matters. The specific art of crafting crysteel has been lost to the Atlanteans in time, and trying to recreate it without the tools or knowledge is a dangerous prospect. Mana is incredibly dangerous and temperamental as a material, but Greylog studies the runes and supposes that making a weapon with runes dedicated to a admittedly dead god of smithing couldn't hurt, so he does his best. Wearing gloves and a mask to never directly touch the mana, he melts it into the steel, and while it is not functional crysteel, Avaben, looking over the weapon, you see it has the same prayers to Vulcan in Atlantean that the pistol does. And again, while it is not as finely made as the Forge Cast pistol, it does have some of the markings of Atlantean crysteel. The rifling is well made.
I don't understand why its hit /DC is lower than the pistol. They're both firearms, right?
Yeah, but the pistol is a legendary weapon. The Bad News is just a crafted weapon.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, the DC for that isn't based on your character. It's usually based on the item.
Well, I mean, your proficiency gets added.
Well, your proficiency gets added. I just mean, like, for instance, like some items will just be, it's like, say, a DC 14 or DC 15, just blank, like no matter what, good or bad, it doesn't matter. And this is one such case. While the rifle itself has no obvious magical effect, Greylog does pass on to you that he suspects there's a blessing on it, but it wasn't one he intended to put in. So, you know, buyer beware.
Have fun.
And as mentioned, he makes himself a bow of warning, and once he gets word that the party intends to just keep traveling for a little bit, and might be a bit before you return to Tortage, he has the profits from his tavern sent to him by ship. Sorry. As you and Anna travel north, you eventually realize, by the time you make it to Autumnfall's capital, that you have no such sword. And while Anna kind of playfully ribs you about it, you at least take advantage of being at the capital to enjoy yourselves, pick up a few spellcasting components before you leave.
And another life.
Yeah. And making your way back, you begin the first steps of mapping out this trip with Anna. she raises a few less concerns and more just things to keep in mind. And by the time you guys return, this is going to be the plan Anna suggests. Sorry, I will let you contribute anything you wish to it before it's presented to the party. But by the time you guys are getting back to Adine, Anna does present a relative plan she has. She mentions that, according to the compass, it is actually most likely that the ship is not far from Ostiliant. Given that you guys already know that place, and you would have to pass through Avaben's village and the Dark Elf City anyway, that might be a good place to start. You'll obviously need to get into the Underdark to find it anyway, so you might as well go somewhere where the compass at least seems to think it's close.
Yeah,
but
I think that Asari kind of picks up on what she's alluding to and agrees.
Alright, and step 2, we're gonna need fuel. I'm not too worried about the ship working or not. Any damage it's taken is hopefully minor. I imagine if anyone found the Dark Elf ship and destroyed it or broke it, someone would have talked about it. So that means they haven't found it yet. The main thing we need to worry about is getting it fueled. We're gonna need to ask the others if they know anywhere that could give us enough fuel. We need a crap ton of pit coal at least. I'm not even sure if that would do the job. Mana rods might be needed. We'll figure it out, but that's gonna be step 2, is fueling it. I'll ask if the others know anything.
We really need some more Dark Elves, don't we?
Well, the only population of Dark Elves I know of are not exactly friendly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can barely handle the one.
Though they do admittedly have issues with the Boomergangers. Didn't they kind of betray them?
And Sasha mentioned to you, Avaben, that a bunch of male Dark Elves of Ostiliant actually fled from the Boomergangers to his village.
Yeah, Asari would remember that, and just maybe the guy ones aren't so bad.
Alright, we'll ask around and see what they think. That's certainly a good lead, at least. Next worry is going to be crewing it. I'm not sure what a ship like this is going to require, so it might be best to play it safe.
I mean, for all we know, it could be all magically run and you only need one person. Or it could need 1,000.
He's not even there.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can transition so that the plan is being discussed with the party.
Yeah.
As Anna gathers you all and passes on what the conclusions her and Asari have come to over the trip. In case we want to prepare for having a larger crew, well, I hate to say it, but the pirates in Plundon likely have every reason in the world to hate the Boomergangers, as long as we can pay them.
We do have a contact of sorts with them.
But I don't know where we're going to get the money, or what we're going to give them if we don't have it.
How about their lives? I mean, they could all die.
You don't know pirates very well, do you, Asari?
I mean, we ran into a few of them, but...
Did any of them give you the impression they value their lives more than their money?
You can't spend your money if you're not alive. I'm just saying.
Well, if they believed that, they would have stayed home with regular jobs, wouldn't they?
Also, you can't reason someone out of a position they didn't come to through reason.
She snaps her fingers and nods. But I do have a backup plan in case they don't take our money. If they're still on Plundon, if what Avaben says about Sasha is true, and like I said, with Asari backing it, I'm inclined to believe it, the Boomergangers have probably already threatened them. So, I was thinking, if we can't
They get rid of an enemy.
Well, less that and more... Well, you guys probably heard it from them. Piracy's on the way out. They need land. And she gives a grin to Alfred. We just so happen to have an island that's no longer cursed.
Don't they already have an island?
Yeah, but the security's been up into question with everything that's been happening recently. Pirate hunters and all. They might feel a bit safer if they have an island base that nobody knows about yet. At least that's my
true.
suggestion. But that's our plan. If we can get a crew, and she gestures to a little doodle of you guys surrounded by pirates. Fuel, a little doodle of you guys carting out like mine carts of coal. The ship itself, she does a little question mark with you guys surrounding it and doing a little dance. That should give us everything we need. And the ship itself, luckily, finding it actually wasn't that hard. She pulls out the compass and allows it to kind of roll in place before placing a finger upon it and show us where the Dark Elves were cursed. The compass rattles before pointing off in a northwest direction. Or, no, sorry, my apologies, northeast. Pointing in a northeastern direction. It's up to you guys.
Wait. What? Did y'all ask the compass where the ship was?
It seems to respond the same to either. Why?
It seemed like a very odd way of wording that.
Just something I picked up during the trip. Initially I was saying, oh, show us where the ship that the Dark Elves were cursed on is, but that started getting to be a mouthful, so I was just like, show us where the ship is, but that didn't work, it just tried to point us back to the base, so I tried to show us where the Dark Elves were cursed, and it kept pointing in the same direction, so...
I mean, doesn't that seem a bit, like... vague? Where's the ship? I mean, really...
Well, it's too late to try again, but if it makes you feel better, tomorrow morning I'll ask it the long and proper way. Is this I've always got on my case for not taking notes?
Yes, and she's gonna point to the doodles.
I'm an artist. What can I say? What's up, Ababen?
I was gonna say, my concern with the way that was phrased is, would it take him to where they launched from the ship, or would it take us to actually the ship?
That is admittedly a fair question. I mean, to be fair, finding where it launched from would still be significant and potentially useful, but like I said, if it makes you feel better, we'll start searching in the morning.
Well, you can always find where it launched from later for your archaeology.
Just might.
Unless after this is all over, the god that owns the... Because isn't the compass one of the keys?
Yes.
Of course, that assumes the god who owns the compass doesn't come back saying, okay, this shit's over, I want it back now.
That's fine. True archaeologists don't need things like this, but it does happen.
But so far I've managed to cover just about every problem except for the problem of fuel. Do either of you have an idea of how we could fuel something like this?
I mean, don't you think we would need some kind of, like, chemical or, like, some kind of limit?
According to the plan, we may not even need it if we're gonna draw them to us anyways.
Well, that's just if they catch us before we're done. Figure, plan for the best, but expect the worst.
Well, I think the idea was that we make our presence there as known as possible to draw them in.
Aye, but, I mean, what's the plan if they decide to just wait us out?
Oh, I hope they don't, because that means they may actually go after the people we're trying to protect.
At that point, not much we can do.
One problem at a time. How about you, Al? Any ideas on how to get this thing moving once we find it?
How to get it moving? No. I'm not really an expert in this field, so... I guess
who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and find out that they left it fully fueled.
I guess we're gonna have to count on that.
Yeah, but the chances of that is very slim. But I like the idea.
I mean, how far can the moon be? Like, surely you wouldn't need that
Would
much
I know?
fuel
Would
to
I
get
know?
there.
Would I know how far the moon is?
Roll nature at disadvantage.
Of course, it's disadvantage.
You're an archaeologist. You're not an astronomer.
You're not fucking.
Amanda Joy is not an art like I know how far the moon is. I'm just saying.
You're not fucking Neil the Dragon Tyson over there.
The dragon.
Oh wow! I rolled the exact same thing twice. A 4.
Okay.
It doesn't look that far.
It can't be that far.
You did once hear a story about a Nonestican artificer who built a ladder to it, so it can't be that far.
Yeah, it can't be that far. Maybe we can find a ladder.
Nah, he took it up with him after he got it working. That's all.
Oh, of course he did.
Well, I guess it sounds like we've got a loose plan. Find the ship, hope it still has fuel, find a crew, and warn everyone we can along the way of what's about to happen.
If it doesn't have any fuel, then, well, we're gonna have to figure that part out. But we'll figure that out when we cross that bridge.
Sounds good, Evaben. Alright.
It's a ladder, not a bridge.
Never mind.
Sorry, I was making a joke.
Yeah, she was more like, never mind. Well, I guess if that's everything, I'll let the crew know that we're going to be moving. First stop, we're heading to Perugia. We're going to visit your home, Evaben, head down into the Underdark, and see about finding the ship.
Is my home on the way?
It depends on the exact route you take. You could technically pass through your home into Evaben's forest. So yeah, if you dock in Britannia.
Yeah, I'll just kind of be like, would it be possible to kind of make a side trip and say hi and warn my mum?
Well, that lady did say that she gave us a pardon. I guess nothing's stopping us from just rolling up and dropping anchor at Britannia. You can visit your home, Evaben can visit his, warn everyone you can, and then we'll find our way down.
If we're gonna make stops at both, I think I would prefer we stopped at where we stopped at.
Sorry, you cut out?
Yeah, he was saying basically if both of you are going to visit your homes, then he wants to be dropped off at the original stop and not pass through Britannia, which Anna gives a small nod.
No offense, but I have a feeling a dark elf that was around Wood Elves wouldn't be very welcome there.
Of course you're welcome. You're welcome in my home at least.
I understand the concern though, and she kind of pulls at her petals and gives you a nod.
Oh, you know my mom loves.
I believe we stopped in, was it Frisia whenever we came by the first time?
That's right. How about this? We'll drop you off there, curve around the northern coastline to Britannia. The rest of us will drop ship there, and we'll meet up in Evaben's village. Sound like a plan?
Sounds fine. Okay, is Ollie and you all around?
Yeah, most of the crew are gathered for these meetings.
Look at them like, does that sound good to you?
Yeah, certainly. Good reason as any to go home, and it gives us the chance to get our families safe. Yeah, we're with you.
Who knows, maybe there'll be some... Who knows, maybe there'll be some wanting to get back at the Boomergangers.
I guess we'll have to hope so.
Oh my god, she's barking in her sleep.
Alright. If any of you have any errands to conduct here, I suggest you get it done now. We're going to be on the road for a while. Alright. If nobody has any final errands, then that is where we will conclude the interlude and tonight's session. As we...
Damn, is it 10 o'clock already?
No, remember the interludes are shorter, since it's just, like, essentially just covering down time, establishing what the plot's going to be for the next chapter, and then we end early, but then continue as normal next week on.
Yeah, plus we are missing a party member.
So, yeah, either way, we would definitely... Anyways. With your plans confirmed and your errands done, you've all trained, traveled, gathered artifacts to get to this point. 2 chapters in this adventure remain. As you conclude this interlude and head on to Chapter 7, To the Moon.
Sounds like we're going to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, you said that was the plan.
I know, but it's like there was a plan of like.
Yeah, Vaven meant like make our presence there known like as loud as possible, so that like we're going there now.
So basically, it's either to the moon as in the announcement, or to the moon as in literally if you end up actually going.
Basically, try to make them think that they need to deal with us immediately, rather than trying to deal with our friends and people we care about.
Yeah. But yes, we will be beginning Chapter 7, To the Moon, next week. For now, as the interlude comes to a close, check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down from maintenance at the moment, but soon to be resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer who went to the capital before realizing they didn't have a sword. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. Support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get your podcasts from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/OddTornadoProductions. Check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Paladins Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. Check out Odd Tornado Productions on YouTube to catch up on anything you may have missed. And check out our Patreon, that link should be posted as well, on Ko-fi at kofi.com/oddtornadoproductions. And follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tornadoodd. The TNO are capitalized if you want to get immediate updates whenever we go live, as well as updates on everything else we're doing. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time for our Tuesday game of Black Ink and Blue Blood, featuring a party of politicians and nobles trying to unravel a political conspiracy if they can stop stabbing each other in the back long enough.
Politicians and nobles.
Thank you, everyone at the table, so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week.